What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Juices Loose podcast, number 212. And yeah, didn't really have a main topic. Not a lot happened, so we're just gonna kind of come up with. Oh, I'm hearing someone's got the podcast playing. So yeah, we're just gonna chat about video games and see what happens. So I do want to start off just by I'm gonna just talk about game I was playing this weekend, which I hadn't put as much time into as I expected. And that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I actually sunk about 5-6 hours in on Saturday and was having a lot of fun. So I know some other games came out, so we'll get some impressions for those that picked up some of the new games. But I just gotta say, I like the reboot. I liked Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the best one. It's the best Tomb Raider game I've ever played, which ain't saying a whole bunch because I didn't like many of the other ones. But I'm just really enjoying the exploration and like the little challenges and stuff. And there's some side missions. And it's just having a good time with the game. I seen Rob Rule too saying he was disappointed, but he didn't really like Rise of the Tomb Raider either.
That's right. So you're irrelevant.
What about people that love the original reboot?
I don't know. I haven't heard anybody give a take on the new one who loved the original reboot. The one thing I will say is with Rise it started and it's continued with this. They took away that Metroid feeling. It's more very optional stuff now that's kind of locked behind. Oh, you need the shotgun to clear this path. Like that was a big part of the reboot in 2013, and I love that shit. Like you couldn't continue the story until you got this upgrade, which you searched around and you figure, oh, this is the only path I can go. I'll go here, and it was very Metroid like design, and they've gotten away from that, and it's more about just freedom of exploration, some side missions, and those challenges for each area where you'll see something just stand out. You point your bow at it, and you shoot it down, and then it's like, ooh, shoot! This is 1 of 5, whatever the name of the challenge is. Find 4 more and shoot them down, and you get an item or some kind of reward. And I do like that stuff, but I do miss the more Metroid structure of the original reboot. But just a great game, and I'm really digging it. It's on PC though. It's always kind of with Rise. It was the same thing. The first month, there's nothing major with this game. It just has some hiccups here and there, and because it runs like perfectly smooth when I boot the game up, whatever area I'm in, it runs great. And then as soon as I fast travel to a different area, it's a bunch of stuttering and pausing. And then when I travel back to the area I started in, it's pausing and stuttering. So there's something to do with fast traveling. That's some kind of programming, some bug. And so that was kind of one of the reasons I didn't just go all in right away. There has been 2 small patches. So but that's one of the big negatives for PC gaming that I've noticed. The few games I've bought in right away, they're definitely not as optimized as I'd like. And, then you got Radeon has to put out patches for specific games, and then the games got to be patched. So that's been that way for a long time with PC gaming. And that's so, but no major issues, but very, very much enjoying the game. And I'd be curious I don't think anybody here has the game, but if you I'll say, like I said last week, if you like the first 2, you'll like this one, I think.
Yeah, I plan on getting this one. How were did you have any issues? You just used the default Crimson drivers. You didn't do anything else.
Whatever. They just had a new update. I don't know if it had anything for Tomb Raider or not. I didn't go and do any specific, but
okay.
It didn't show any optional. It had a recommended update, and I did it. I don't know if there's anything else, but
okay.
But yeah, even Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had. I don't even know if they ever fixed that. Where if you left that, what's the name of that main area?
What are you talking
about?
The first big area where if you left the town.
Are you talking Tormont?
Yeah, and then when you came back, like the frame rate just started chugging.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely fixed.
It's still bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was.
Yeah, like it's better, but it's not like gone.
Yeah, it's literally like I even bumped up to 1440p. I'm like, damn, this last patch, like this game's running nice. Bumped up to 1440. Yeah, it was down around 30 frames per second, but it was smooth. And I spent about an hour, maybe closer to 2 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to some of the earlier areas and try to get some of these challenges complete. And I lowered the resolution way down, and it had this no positive effect. It's whatever. It's just some kind of glitch. So that was kind of a bummer, but it wasn't like constantly and unplayable. It was just a slight annoyance every once in a while, but definitely hopefully by the time they'll fix it, I'll probably be done with the game. But anyway, some other games came out last week. Terrell, I know you picked up at least one. I forget, what were the two Switch games? There are two games that hit Switch. I know FIFA 19
and Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Dragon Ball FighterZ. Feels like there was one more maybe that hit earlier in the week.
28th.
I could be wrong. So
I'm not sure. I mean, you got Mario Party this Friday, but I can't think of anything else.
I thought
of note anyway.
So,
let me phrase it that way.
I haven't looked. All I saw was this guy Roy's posting screenshots of the FIFA 19 on Switch and video clips, and I think it looks way better. I don't know. I haven't watched any reviews or
Which
anything.
is funny because it's so like ass apparently in the UK from what we've heard so far.
Well, then just the Switch version or all of them?
The Switch version.
Because I thought I heard like overall it was #1, but it was down significantly from last year.
Like Switch is like they did the percentage. I think it was like over 50% was PlayStation, like 30% or so was Xbox, and like 1% was Switch.
Well, they said that last year too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that was the big news last year.
Oh, I didn't even remember.
But it sold pretty well in Japan out of the Switch version, so
which is good.
I'm looking on the eShop now, and the Geonesis is on here. I don't know when that came out, but it's on.
No, it was it was like.
Oh wait, there probably was something else. Hold on a second.
I thought there was another physical game.
Keep talking. I'm looking.
But anyway, it's just like I think people were a little more focused on like because NBA came out last year. It was the first time in a long time. FIFA, first time in a long time. I didn't hear anyone talk about NBA 2K19 on Switch. I haven't heard anybody talk about FIFA. Somebody in the chat says it plays really well, FIFA 19, but I haven't heard of NBA 2K19 if there was any improvements or how that plays. Oh, Valkyria Chronicles, wasn't it?
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. God damn it. I was like, that's the one that sold relatively well, actually. It sold that was the other UK number. That's why I remember it. I remember seeing it this morning.
So I mean, yeah, that's some those are some major third-party games coming out.
Because PlayStation 4 was 54% of it, Switch was like 39% of it, and Xbox was like 7%.
Yeah. So you got that, and Stick of Truth as well, I think, came out recently.
Oh yeah, they did release that like last week.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, they mentioned it a while ago.
They put a little Twitter post out, and like nobody replied to it.
Like that. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me, but why wasn't that in a direct or something? Like
because it was like a borderline stealth release.
Yeah, they put it on the direct like two directs ago. And
really?
They mentioned it then.
Yeah, it was like a
and maybe I just thought it was the fractured butthole or something that they were talking about again.
They do look similar.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's definitely the year of third-party games on the Switch. There's been a ton, and but anyway, Terrell, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I mean, final game any different than the beta? Anything to talk about?
I did pick up the free trial for online to try it because I did want to play it single player and online. The game runs fine. I don't have any issues with it. I think during gameplay, I can't even tell it looks worse than the PlayStation 4 Xbox One version. You can tell during the story mode because they do the fucking like 3D models and there's some zoom out shots and it's like pixelated all across the outlines. But like as a whole, the game runs fine. I have no issues with that. Looks good for the most part. Plays really well. Still addictive as shit. Just good game. I think literally the only issue is that, just like every other, unless you bought it on PC, you gotta pay for online. So I'll be on it for a week for free, fucking about, and then we'll see, and then maybe I'll touch the single player. That's the one thing I don't care for, and I'd already heard complaints about it before I picked it up. Single player drags, but I'm not playing that shit until I have to, which will probably be after this week.
They've got $110 Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, they've been pushing them DLC packs because you got base Goku, base Vegeta, cooler Android 17, and I'm like, yeah, we're not playing this fucking game. I see what you're doing, Bandai. You think you're fucking sneaky. You take enough of my money, and I have enough things to spend it on right now. I'm not worried about that shit.
The music pack for that game is $15.
Why?
Yeah, that's kind of out there.
So dumb. It's not the greatest game for microtransactions. It's like one of the more annoying games with microtransactions. The game runs fine on Switch, so there's no like issue as far as your experience. You should have pretty much a similar experience to a PlayStation 4, Xbox, or PC user.
And any crossplay? I haven't heard.
I don't think so.
That's it. That's weird. It
That
seems like
isn't
that would be a
common.
good candidate for that type.
I don't
of
think
game.
it's as common as it needs to.
Yeah, it hasn't. By the time that got popular, this game probably was well under development on
something
three platforms.
I'm curious if there will be a game that adds something like that post launch, because fighting games like that, like you're even if you have a 80 million install base and you have 2 million people bought the game, the lobbies are going to be smaller and smaller as time goes by. And if you joined all 3 or 4 together, then there'd be a lot more opportunities.
I guess it depends on the game, but then it's kind of hard. It's already hard as it is to do matchmaking on one platform, so you got to imagine cross-platform would be pretty hard.
I will say the lobby system is really fucking good though, because you can customize pretty much everything about it, even to what tier connection you want.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll say,
so I appreciate all that.
If Epic can do it, I think other people can do it.
Well, I think it. I don't think is there any.
The problem is you have to. Each company has to have their own.
Well, for all their thing is, I don't think any fighting game currently or any high tier fighting game has crossplay, except for maybe does Street Fighter have it with PC?
No, there's a couple of. I think the what's the fighting game with Skullgirls? I think it's cross-platform, Mac and PC. I think, but there's no. I haven't seen any other games that are like a fighting game specifically that's cross-platform online play.
Yeah,
that was that whole thing that was the whole Sega thing that Sega tried to do. They tried to create one. They tried to create a platform where that would work, and the Dreamcast failed, so all the money ran out on that project. But they were literally trying to say, you know what, if you've got, because they were trying to still get Madden on the Dreamcast, and then once they were able to do it, they wanted to be able to compete with other players. So you're a PlayStation 2 user, you could play against a Dreamcast player and vice versa. So had they gotten that off the ground, we might be seeing some cool stuff, but it never materialized. So greedy companies said, let's stay greedy.
I also noticed
that Street Fighter and PC and PS4 can crossplay.
On you said PC and PS4 can on Street Fighter 5? Well,
Two different people said that. So
okay, that's what I was curious about, because I knew that it was
that seems cool.
It was exclusive to those 2 platforms, and I was like, I wonder if Sony's allowing crossplay,
because I think you can Killer Instinct PC and Xbox. I thought could, but Microsoft obviously.
I think it took a while. They did promise it. I don't know when it actually.
Well, that was Windows. Yeah, I think Killer Instinct was only Windows 10, right? It wasn't just Steam.
Yes, it was Windows 10.
I think all those games had.
You had to get it in the Windows App Store to be able to run that one. So
T, did you pick up any new games?
A couple.
Like he always sounds suspect as shit too. God damn.
I got Fire Emblem Warriors, which I haven't even touched yet. But I got that, and I got State of Mind, which I love. Been playing that a lot. I bought this game on the eShop called Mantarok, I think it's called, and it's like a survival horror type of game. And it was mad cheap, and it's good. It's pretty good.
So is the heart of Mantarok in that game?
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. I was thinking about. Like, what's that?
Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness, right? And I was like, oh, that's weird. But no, it's not like that. But it's you're in a. It's one of those games that come out all the time. It's like you're in a spaceship, you know, and you wake up and what happened, that type of thing, you know.
Mm.
But it's pretty cool. Got this cool premise where you have to keep finding these serums to like these syringes because you basically have some kind of illness and you have to keep treating it until you can find the cure at the end of the game, I guess. And this thing keeps chasing you. I think it's the Mantarek or whatever, and you can't fight them. You just have to. It's one of those horror games where you have to just get away from it. But
somebody just Visor Grunt says Crash Bandicoot's only 20. And what system is that for?
Yeah, it's on sale right now
on the Switch.
Yeah,
$20. I mean, that's,
they took it. It's $20 off.
I guess if you've been waiting, I still probably don't think it's worth it from what I've seen Terrell play it.
It's 3 goddamn games remastered, man.
Yeah, but I think it's worth 40.
The first one looks like
on 20.
trash control wise, but
Well, Mr. T, I'm definitely trying Hollow now because it's like $2.
Yeah, I have Hollow, and I haven't touched that either. But I mean, I played it a little bit.
you gotta start playing Hollow Knight first. God damn.
Yeah, so we'll play Hollow Knight.
There's a lot of shit to play and not enough time, Juice.
Yeah. We can't ignore games like you do.
Cave Story. Ooh.
Yeah, I just bought a brand new game.
Cave Story is on sale. Ikaruga's on sale.
There's a bunch of shit on sale.
Yeah, that's
And I
ridiculous.
still want to get it's too much. I got like Worlds with You comes out next week, man.
You know. When is Starlink? That's coming.
That's actually in there
That's
like
a month.
2 weeks, the 16th, isn't it?
Yeah.
God damn.
So do we count that as the November game for Nintendo? Because they don't have one. They just have a Pokemon in October, right? The end of
No,
end of this
Pokemon's
month?
November 16th.
Yeah,
It is November. Okay.
Yeah,
There's
Mario
another
Party is
November game
October.
too.
What's the
Not
November
from
game?
Nintendo, but there's I forget one of the third party Diablo, I think, is November.
Yeah, Diablo's
Doom,
November.
kind of like Doom was last year.
But Nintendo's pretty much set for the rest. I mean, Mario Party comes out Friday, so that's October. Pokemon will be in November, and then Smash is December. They're good for like the rest of the year as far as
And
their
then January is the heavy hitter. Fucking New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Come on.
Yeah, there's so much aggression.
It's got Luigi included for free.
That's the least. That's the least I could argue. That's a deal.
Can't nobody say the games aren't there. Like there's a Fear Effect game on here, and I didn't even know that it was even announced for Switch, and it's just here.
I think that was like a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember Fear Effect getting announced, like them trying to go back to it.
I have it. You talking about Fear Effect Sedna?
Yeah, I didn't even know it got announced for Switch.
Wasn't it like last year? It came out?
Yeah, I completely missed that one.
It came out like last year, from what I remember.
Fear Effect Sedna was being announced, and they were talking about the remastering of the actual Fear Effect game, the first one. Yeah, so
that's crazy.
Reminded me of something.
I'm not a fan of it though. I don't know if it might be your style or not, but I'm not a fan of the Fear Effect Sedna.
I'm not sure either because I haven't played it. I played the first game on was that PS1?
Yeah. Well, this is like completely different genre.
Oh, is it like a tactical game or something?
Yeah, it's real tactical. Like it's which is fine, but it's really slow. Like I wasn't expecting it to be this slow. So,
That reminded me. Did we ever talk about that one indie developer who was kind of blaming Nintendo for their game not selling, and they didn't put it in a direct, and it got no promotion whatsoever.
There's like a bunch of games.
Yeah,
There's one specific
developer that said that. I remember. I just don't know who it was.
That's kind of hard to. I mean, they announce so many games. They literally do an indie direct, and they show game. So I don't.
Like, if you don't impress them with, like, what do you expect Nintendo to, like, showcase everything? Because there's a lot of just
They're not going to showcase trash. And
you know,
sometimes they showcase mediocre stuff, so they're not going to showcase trash.
Exactly. So, this ain't the Wii U. There's a lot more out there, you know.
Yeah, it's just a constant rotation.
Yeah.
This ain't the Wii U, man. This shit is exactly the Wii U.
I'm talking about the output on the eShop. There's a lot more
the
trash.
amount is different.
There's no port of the letter on the eShop.
Oh god.
Man, you'll be surprised how many people bought that shit just because it was like $1 or something. Like I think it was like $2.
Hey, man, it's like asking why people go to Dollar General.
Me and Robert both did that shit. So
no, that was like a traumatizing moment for y'all.
I bought a $1 game on the Wii U, and it it was basically a more artistic looking version of fucking Angry Birds, and I forget what it was called.
Oh no!
Oh, I think I know what game you're talking about too. That's crazy.
I'd have to turn on my Wii U to see it, but what a work.
It's called Unhappy Crows.
No, it was like it was no. The art style was nothing like it. Didn't have any characters. It was just like a white square, and you had to pull back on the screen with the stylus and let go, and it'd go flying, and then just had to make it into like a spot. You know, it didn't knock anything down, but it was stupid. But anyway.
It's like beach cart racing, all kinds of garbage on the Switch eShop.
I thought Nintendo was gonna change up the eShop too to help. I think they added a category, if I'm not mistaken.
They only added like a featured list and like best selling for.
Wasn't
like,
there an indie category or something they were gonna add? I remember in a direct or something they mentioned.
I don't remember any of that personally.
I'm over waiting for Nintendo to add features.
Yeah,
it was like it may happen.
I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were excited until this point.
But like me holding my breath for it is like not gonna.
Oh, I didn't know. I hope you weren't doing that. You'd be dead.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be different.
No, you didn't. You thought.
So I don't know what else. Or unless Retro, you got any PS4 games you've been playing or anything?
That's funny. No, man, the only PS4 game I'm getting is like next month is Darksiders 3.
Well, I think it's pretty. Honestly, I mean, you already have the Uncharted 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
On PS3, but I played 2 and I played 4. I feel like there was no need to play 1 and 3 before playing 4. It's other than
I'm kind of like OCD in that shit, man. I gotta start at 4. It has
one, you mean?
Related stories, so I'm gonna start at 1.
The stories. I mean, it's like a movie. It's kind of a. You don't have to know much to.
You know what else is a movie? Because that is something I actually started playing last week finally on the PlayStation 3, like The Last of Us. Like I was expecting a little bit more gameplay from that. Like, I figured it was like a Sony game.
In the beginning, it's very story heavy.
Like, do you know who developed that game?
Yeah, I know it was gonna be like Sony movie shit, but man, like I was expecting a little bit more than like I think in like half an hour of gameplay. Like I think once I hit X thrice to kick a window. I think that was it. And then you got the actual gameplay, like the shooting and stuff. And man, that is some subpar shooting segments. I don't know, man.
It's way better.
The story's gonna keep me hooked because that is terrible.
I will say the shooting. One of the biggest mistakes with that game was you find these like. It's like a pill icon. You find these things, and once you build up like 50 of them, you take them and you can upgrade one of Joel's skills, and one of them is weapon sway.
Mm-hmm.
I do that, and then I did it 3 times in a row, and without the weapon sway, it became like a totally different game. It was so much better just shooting, like you could actually hit what you were trying to hit. Yeah.
That's important.
What a dumb design choice. I understand they wanted to have some kind of upgrading your skill sets and stuff, which they don't do at all in Uncharted. But to have weapon sway like in a game where like every bullet freaking counts, that game got so much better for me once I upgraded that and got rid of that weapon sway.
There's Resident Evil games that have that though. It's not necessarily weapon sway, but it's accuracy. Like
you're using an analog stick and you're trying to aim at something and the fucking sight's just moving like significantly. It's just stupid. So on my second,
I enjoy the story and shit, as fucking predictable as it is so far. But yeah, I don't know, man. You can definitely tell that Nintendo. They're like, we have this awesome cool gameplay mechanic. Let's build a game around it. And you can tell that we have this awesome story. And I was like. Where can we put some button actions in here?
Yeah. Like, there's long sections where you're actually getting through an environment, and there's.
Yeah, no, I've had that. Like I said, the shooting segment. But then, like I said, like considering in this day and age, like 2018, we've been gaming for like 30 fucking years and shit. The shooting segments, they're like, I don't know, man. It's like you have the story, and the story is cool and shit, and all of a sudden they come to a room, and you see like the room from above, and you see all these square things. You're like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do some shooting here now. It's like I don't know. It feels like.
To be fair, that's a PS3 game. That was supposed to be on a console that can give you 2 1080p streams, 2 HDMI ports on the back of it. So yeah, a lot of things got cut short in that generation. But
Apart from that, the only game I played is the actual only physical Switch game I bought, but I bought it in like April, but they only released the physical version of it now. That is because it's like a limited run games thing where they open pre-orders, and I like that. And then once the open pre-orders are done, they make the physical game, so you can only have it when you actually order it at them. And they just sent me the physical version of Flinthook, like an indie rogue game, which is super addictive.
I thought you were gonna say ukulele because they're doing that same thing.
Yeah, no, I'm a backer on that. I have it digitally right now. You know, like my money can go to better places than buying physical games I already own again.
Yeah, especially bad
Sucks when you own a
platformers.
Switch.
Especially terrible platforming games too.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not even gonna
Just
buy it on
kidding.
that one.
Just kidding.
It's a fucking instigator, man. That's what it is.
So,
I think T would like Flinthook though if he hasn't played it yet.
What's it
I've
called?
never even heard of it.
It's basically like an indie like roguelike game, but you use bionic commando mechanics while controlling time. It's super addictive.
Oh, but you lost me at roguelite.
God damn.
No rogue legacy for anybody here. There's no,
I fucking
no
love
Splunky.
Legacy.
I don't
No
get down with
Splunky.
roguelites.
Oh man.
He does not approve.
Not my steez, man.
Well, we can talk about horse testicles next.
Oh, is that where
swore I
game
brought
development
that
has
up.
gone now? That's what.
I could have swore I brought that up last time.
This is what we about now.
Did you bring that up on? I don't think you brought it up on air, did you?
Yeah. I remember us talking about it.
We
That's
briefly
all
talked
bad.
I
about
thought
We didn't talk a
about
lot
that.
about it, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do now. New
You wanna
game,
hear-
the next GTA: horse testicles and dog titties. That's what
Here's a
we're.
confession though.
GG.
I haven't even watched one of the trailers for that game.
it. Details, man.
I
Details.
haven't either. No, wait, that's a lie. I'm lying. I
I've
have.
seen some like right now. There's a Twitter they post like a 15-second clip.
Oh, that comes out this month, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, they definitely create awesome game worlds. Like as far as technically, I'm looking at this shot of like the climbing the mountains with the clouds in the background. I'm sure it's going to be a gorgeous looking game, but
But can you play it?
it's just hard. I don't like GTA games, and open world games in general don't usually get me too excited. That's why when I hear Red Knight talk about if you got a PS4 and you like Spider-Man, how are you not excited about Spider-Man on the PS4? Because it looks like a fucking boring ass open world game. Like that's like how can you just say
That's,
something like that? Like
Watch
it's
your
just,
mouth, man. Watch your mouth.
I'm just gonna disagree on that one. That's all I'm gonna say.
I just know
Spider-Man.
it has a likelihood of being great because Sunset Overdrive was great. So
Well, that and just
if they just didn't completely fuck it up, it's at least decent.
I'm not saying it's gonna be a bad game. I just don't care
It's
for
not
open world
interesting.
games like that.
It's just as good as Spider-Man.
What's funny in this?
yeah, it depends on your taste, honestly.
What's funny in this conversation always with Juice and his fucking hatred for open world games is that technically when you have games like Elder Scrolls or whatever, or games where there's so much shit to do in the world, but then, and I love this game, I'm just saying, but then you praise like Breath of the Wild.
I knew
like
it was
that.
coming. I knew that shit was.
I mean, Breath of the Wild is a gorgeous fucking game. It's my second favorite Zelda game ever. It's perfect. But
Let's
seriously,
put it
there's
this way,
nothing
though.
to do in the open world.
I really think
Savage,
we're gonna see DMA Design or whatever their name is now. What do they call it now? Rockstar North.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see them show all the new things that Nintendo taught them. All of a sudden, magically, a lot of issues are going to be gone in their future games.
Like you're not gonna have just stupid icons everywhere. Hey, that's where you go to do a mission like this. That's where you go for.
Red Dead doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know if Red Dead does or not.
Yeah,
But-
GTA was pretty bad.
I think that was T telling you.
Yeah. I played the first one. I beat it.
I think
It's a good game. I'm a little surprised that I guess I'm sure it has to do with Grand Theft Auto and its popularity, and here's another game from them. So I get that, but I mean, I thought it was a good game. I don't know what's all the hoopla about. Like, it's a good game.
because they're rock stars.
I know a couple people that aren't GTA guys that said, "Oh, I absolutely love Red Dead." So I mean, maybe I never gave it a chance.
The story is cool. Like, I think if you're more into that, like, it has a a cool story. And if you're into like westerns and stuff, it's.
How did you feel about Undead Nightmare? Because if you were gaming press, you were jacking off to this game apparently. So I'm trying to.
Again, I didn't get that either. I have Undead Nightmare along with mine, because that's the version I bought, and it was all right. Like, it was a good distraction.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't write off. Go ahead.
I'm feeling a pattern because I haven't really agreed with the majority of gaming press since probably Katamari Damacy, which we talked about on the last episode. But
and I'm not saying like I think GTA is all that great either. It's I get it. I get the popularity of GTA. It's a fun like sandbox world, and that's what Red Dead is. It's a sandbox, but it's like has this kind of cool setting with being a Western and having a more serious story.
I'm more confused about GTA because GTA, I feel like, should have lost a lot of its luster, because half of the appeal of GTA was the fact that it was one of the few games during the time that allowed you to do all this reckless and ridiculous shit with very few restrictions for the time. And nowadays, like, every game has an open world, so like, and you have that same level of freedom. So I wouldn't think GTA should still be selling off of that. Yeah. Although it seems to be more off of the online than anything.
A lot of cool online stuff. So.
But Grand Theft Auto to me is one of the biggest, other than like Call of Duty in its prime, the biggest casual friendly game, because when I had my other YouTube channel where I'd ride around my motorcycle with camera and talk and stuff. I met a lot of cool people, and we always just like, hey, they always like, you play Call of Duty? And so, yeah, I'll play Call of Duty with them every once in a while. And you're like, oh, yeah, I play Call of Duty and I play Grand Theft Auto. Like, that's literally the only two games that most people play.
I know a lot of people who aren't gamers like that who play Madden. And they play
Madden, 2K.
2K, right. So it's a super casual game.
And GTA fits right in with that.
Everybody who plays it is a casual, because there are core gamers who get really into it and play it as well. But the sales come from mostly casuals who don't even really play games all that much.
Well, that's why it's still selling.
If they don't want to, they can just literally just drive around and fuck off, you know.
Right. That's the main draw. It's a sandbox.
That's the appeal. Yeah.
I get bored as shit doing that.
How can you?
I think most people who own GTA 5 or any of the GTA games probably haven't even beat the story, because they were just like, fuck it, I get to drive a car and hit hookers with it. So that's all I care about.
I'll be very
and
realistic.
I did do that a lot. I will admit, I run around, shot people, and try to get arrested by the cops
because the story and the gameplay is so uninteresting. That's why.
Yeah,
you just like
too many times I've walked in a house or an apartment and I would see weed, alcohol, and a bunch of people sitting on a couch. And all they're doing is trying to get 4 stars or more, and just run around and cause chaos. See how long you last, die, and start over.
How can I don't know how that. Go ahead. I don't know how that can be fun more than once or twice. You know.
Yeah. You'll be surprised when people are inebriated.
With games like that, it all depends on how you like to play a game. That's how I used to play GTA.
That's the only way.
Driving a car, shit, shooting as many people. Trying to survive and shit. But like when I have games like let's say Borderlands, or games like The Scrolls, you know, I think like with Skyrim, it took me literally like 150 hours before I started the main quest, for example. Some games just bring that out.
Yeah.
And I say that's like in San Andreas. I spent my whole time fucking eating food and going to the gym and shit, because I was doing all the RPG stuff where I'm like, oh, let's see if I can max my character out, and then I go and try to challenge the cops, still fucking die, but you know that's the part. That's what I do.
See how long you left? I used to find a nice intersection where a lot of cars are gonna be. I park my shit right in the middle of that, cause a pile up, and use a rocket launcher and blow every fucking thing up.
You know the sad thing about this? You take this out of the context of GTA, this sounds really fucked up.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah.
That shit was more fun than the stupid ass storyline or the janky ass missions that you
the missions were. But just to comment on somebody in the chat, like it's unfair to assume people who play GTA play it for silly shit alone.
No,
it's
it's a lot of
not-
people
No,
do that.
I would
because
say
I know so many people who do that.
I would say it's a fair
Including
assumption.
myself.
It's a fair because I've heard firsthand stories from many people. I hardly heard anybody say, "Yeah, man, I beat the story. Oh, it was so good." Like it's just like,
No
"Oh
one gives
man,
a
I
fuck
did
about
this,
the
this, and
story.
this." And
Yeah.
some of that's just like, "Oh, I got on a wave run or whatever, and did races for an hour." Like it's not
Yeah.
all just pointless, silly stuff, but that's the
But
big appeal.
Yeah, there's a lot of side stuff, and that's what most people get caught up in the side stuff. I like I said, I used to do that shit for hours, and because like I said, the main game isn't all that compelling.
Man, dudes play San Andreas, and I talk to them, and they're like, all they think is CJ had a crew full of homeboys. They never knew he got double crossed. They never knew any of that type of shit went down. Like they just rode around in the hood for a couple of times on some of the missions, and that was it.
Yeah, that's the appeal. Like Dennis is saying in the chat, is the GTA Online is just a dumbed down Second Life kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty
So-
much.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, except
That's kinda how
instead of dating sims, you're just going out and killing people.
I love though. I don't know if they expanded it. Like you had this huge area in GTA 5, and on the Xbox 360, I think you can only have 16 players at a time in the world, and it's like, I mean, this area it's huge. Like you hardly ever seen anybody. It was, I think you could look them. I think you could like track them or something. But just to get back to Red Dead, I'm not gonna write the game off. I honestly haven't seen any real gameplay of the first game. I haven't watched any trailers. If it's a great game, I mean, it'd be something I would be interested in looking at. You know, like if it doesn't play like the typical open world games, sounds like there's a lot of little stuff to do from what I've seen or heard people say in
With
Red
the
Dead
hunting
2.
and fishing and all that. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but just to comment on what Retro said, I don't need side stories and everything to like make it's my issue with open world games isn't the lack of things to do. It's usually the mission structure and just this like Assassin's Creed and in the GTAs where it's like oh, go to this icon and that's how you're going to get your next story mission, and go to this icon, that's a different type. Like to me that's just boring.
Yeah,
Not because there's not stuff to do, it's just because I'd rather just be dropped into a world like Xenoblade Chronicles X and I got to explore. Like I don't need side missions.
and we'll show you all the cool sites.
Yeah, if the gameplay loop isn't fun, it's not worth it. Like to be honest, I had more fun doing like you're talking about going to a major intersection that's like a bottleneck, and then you could just blow up the most stuff. I had more fun doing that technically in Crackdown than any GTA game.
Crackdown is none of those games. I mean, it's kind of built around that kind of stuff, though. So
yeah.
My favorite thing to do, and they took it away from GTA 5, was to go punch somebody in the face in a crowd, make them swing on me and hit somebody else and start a fight.
Yeah.
Do that shit.
And then you just walk away.
That literally reminds me of the Boondock scene where Riley throws a damn chair in the middle of a crowd, and that just causes a fight. The chair didn't even hit nobody. The chair just lands on the ground. It's like, oh, I guess we're swinging now.
Yeah, that was way more fun than go shoot the gang up or go.
That just means you're an anarchist. That's what that means.
Actually, after hearing, especially hearing T, because I know we kind of have the same feeling towards Zelda and other open world games. So if Red Dead doesn't follow that stupid formula, I might be more interested in looking into it. But
no, Red Dead is different. It's different than GTA. I mean, obviously there's some similarities. I think it controls better than GTA, which is obviously good. And it has it's a story. It's a structured story thing, and you can deviate from that. You can help people, solve their little issues. And it doesn't really hold your hand to that. You just talk to people and do things naturally. I think that's why I like it. I like it better than GTA as far as it being a game. But like I said, I have a lot of fun in GTA just doing stupid stuff.
I will say just for the sake of argument, because part of the reason why I enjoy games like Batman and I am interested in getting Spider-Man is that although they do follow that issue of, oh, you got to go to this point and then it triggers the story section you have to do. It usually for me depends on the property. If I give a fuck about what's going on,
right,
then I'm more invested. And that's the reason why with like Batman Arkham City is still like my favorite fucking game of that type.
Because of the source material.
Yeah, because I like Batman and I like that lore. Also, because there's a bunch of cool side shit to do, and I care about that world versus like
Batman Arkham Knight, which is bullshit.
Hey man, you just get to drive. You don't want to drive, T?
You got to drive that vehicle that apparently can't run on the menu of
throw this game breaking ass tank into the mix. See how you like
and make the whole game revolved around that piece of shit. All right, I'm gonna fucking hate
the game, man.
It had all the polygons. It had all the
Night. It's just all right. Just move on.
How'd that PC version work out?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was actually going to buy it because
you shouldn't have.
What year was that? 2015.
Yeah,
was it that month?
It was like a year after the PlayStation 4 came out.
Because I'm like, I mean, the Wii U wasn't. I mean, 2015 had some decent games in the later part of the year, but it wasn't like popping off or anything. There wasn't much to play. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll get Arkham Knight. And then I'm glad I checked some forums or reviews, whatever, beforehand, because I would have been stuck with that piece of shit.
Actually, Batman was going to be my first reason of buying a PlayStation 4, and then I saw that game and I was like, nope, we're gonna wait on that one.
Talking about Arkham Knight?
Yeah, Arkham Knight.
They had a PS4 edition.
Yeah,
like
they had a
Arkham
bundle. That's what I was gonna go for, and I went, you know what?
Like even the story, like that was.
So I hate that game. Is trash on every level to me.
Yeah, it was like so disappointing, and I love those games. I'm a huge Batman Arkham fan.
Shit depressed me.
Yeah, the third one,
You give me Arkham City any day. I don't give
Yeah,
because
you had that game too. Yeah, I just remember.
I still have it.
Yeah, but he still has it. I remember.
And who was it? I think it was even Level that had it. Was trying.
It was just so underwhelming. It's just like, man, this is bullshit. This is just.
And then
but wouldn't nobody say that at the time though?
No,
nobody was saying that at the time.
It's all over that shit. I'm like, what? Am I playing a different game? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, almost like you think they didn't play the other game.
Again, and I'm a fan. I love this Arkham.
I think Origins is a better game, and Origins had its glitches too.
Origins is much better than Arkham Knight.
Yes,
as far as I'm concerned.
So is that the tale then? These big budget blockbuster reveals are if once they launch, people have to make an excuse to like them after they spent 60 on it because they got duped.
Depends how bad the game is, actually.
Yeah,
that's my thought process.
I think I mean other people though, because they would jizz all over it when it comes out, and then slowly over time, be like, yeah, I didn't really like that kind of. I'm not saying you guys in particular, but the majority of the audience I'm talking about.
Well, a lot of people from young age to adults, you buy something and you want to like it. So maybe sometimes you make some excuses or try to justify your purchase or make you feel like you didn't waste your money. I've never really been that, because if I spend 60, I don't usually want to make excuses if it sucks. Like I'm usually harder on it if I actually spent my own money on it.
$5 I spent on this trash.
Apparently Rockstar doesn't make bad games either. I just seen that in the chat. So
I think he's being sarcastic.
Hopefully.
I think that's sarcasm.
I mean, I wouldn't say they make maybe that just bad.
Smugglers Run.
The games usually are pretty well made, whether they're good, whether I enjoy them or not.
Was it Manhunt?
Table Tennis was good.
Manhunt 2.
Super overrated ass games.
What, Table Tennis? Or are you talking about Manhunt?
Oh, Manhunt. No, Manhunt.
Yeah. Manhunt was just shock value, I think.
Yeah, it's shock value. That's all that shit was.
He's like, Red Dead will be 9-10. I don't think he's kidding when he says Rockstar doesn't make bad games.
No, I think he's saying it's going to be 9 out of 10 because that's what they're going to give it.
It is what they're going to give.
That's going to be a 10 out of 10. That game's going to be one of the highest reviewed games of all time. I guarantee it.
Of course.
And shout out to Zobi. He finally did start making some live streams again. Zobi70 said when what was the last one that came out? God of War. And he's reading reviews, and these people are sounding like fucking English scholars. They're using these words that you never see in a game review.
Exactly.
And then IGN posted a preview, and I think I sent you guys the link, or I posted on Twitter or something. This guy it sounded like he went out to the wilderness and rode on a horse. Like he's describing and using big words and, trying to sound smart and fancy. And it was like, instead of just previewing the game, he's talking about this experience, and I couldn't even get past the second.
Isn't that the Red Dead 2 preview?
Yeah, the Red Dead 2 preview.
Yeah. I saw that a while ago.
On IGN.
Nobody goes to college and says, "Oh, I want to become a game journalist."
No,
Like nobody does that. So
Or you talking about the people who
that means you're a failed English major, and you're like, I'm going
you
to
have
get
a lot of failed English majors, overly educated, what is it? Mass communications degrees, and they
can't get a job at the radio station.
I can get into game media because that's a pretty easy thing to jump into. Because it's harder to get into like world news type of media and stuff. So that's what happens. So you get all these dudes in here who aren't really gamers. Most of them are not gamers.
They used to be.
And they start using these bloated ass paragraphs to describe a video game, and it's just like, stop with this bullshit. Like, enough.
Sweeping vistas that you see in the. As you catalog through them,
I'm like, trying to find that.
But then the draw distance steady has popping in. Like, what are you talking about?
I cannot find this article. I don't know if they took it down.
I thought it was like GameSpot or something.
No, it was IGN. It was like
that same game reviewer will review a game that they didn't want to review, and they can't find those words at all, even if that same game qualified. Like, it's just clearly a bunch of you know what? So and it's going to be biased, but whatever.
I found it. Let me pause the video. As I trotted across the prairie land of New Hanover on my well-groomed steed, Mahogany Boy, I heard the dull rattle of a freight train. I yanked the reins, hit X a few times to shift gears into a gallop, and streaked toward the tracks, just as the steam locomotive rounded a corner into view. As I looked up at a trajectory with a train, I heard a shout over the growing noise. Bounty hunters sent to collect me, dead, not alive. It was a fair cop. I recently threatened a passing wagoner, stolen his cart, and rode off a cliff to see what happens.
Is he trying to get a fucking Pulitzer?
I know, like, what the
As the engine streaked past, I swung the camera to get a look at my pursuers. A button prompt appeared in the bottom right corner of the screen. Jump on train.
I get what he's doing. I think that would have worked. It didn't really bother me that much personally, though, because I mean, you can literally do the same thing to Zelda. Actually, people have done that to Zelda.
But the thing is, like, if you review a game like this thing, like when Juice sent this link and I was reading the shit, and I was expecting this to be like the intro to the review, but then I realized like halfway through that this was the review, and I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? Like, what is this game?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think like people don't realize, like, if you're gonna do that, that can't be the review. That needs to be like a setup for the review.
I think this dude
and then you go into the review.
Like, I think this dude wasn't like a field scholar who became like a game journalist. I think it's a game journalist who doesn't want to be a game journalist. Like, that's exactly what I feel.
I've been saying that shit for years. It's just, that's what it is. He's basically making a highlight reel for his next job.
Yeah, well, let's go this part. Right. He's like, all right, I'm dropped, and this could be a girl too. I didn't look to see who wrote this. I'm dropped into New Hanover, looking directly at the Grizzlies Arthur just left. They're on the horizon. It's clear we've traveled a very long way. This area's a stereotypical wild landscape dotted with a Cornwall company outpost, and plumes of smoke mark the pockets of humanity that lived in the shadow of the local twin stack. What is it, messes?
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
It's like, this is a game preview. What the fuck am I reading?
I feel like you're putting too much effort into a preview and not really talking about the game.
Sounds like somebody's literary, college thesis paper. What
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 paragraphs still going.
And you wonder why people don't read reviews anymore.
Yep.
Because of this bullshit.
There was another 20.
It's literally one of those kind of previews that sounds better listened to than read, because it's like, why the fuck would I read this?
I don't want to listen to someone.
I don't know if I want to listen to that either, though.
I'd rather read it or listen to it.
Oh, but they do it. They do it. They write a script and then they read it too.
I can read it faster than they can say it. That's for sure. If I'm reading to myself,
I think it works better as a narration than it does a fucking.
But it's a game preview. Like, this is Red Dead.
Oh no,
Redemption.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Like, who the fuck are they trying? What are they trying to spin this at?
Well, that's the issue. I mean, we've been in that problem for a while now. I think the Last of Us
not like that though.
I think it's been
the same.
Let me just address Gary D real quick, because some people don't understand you can criticize something and still like it. Like, I'm gonna end up buying Red Dead Redemption 2 at some point. It's not about where it's at. I have all the systems. So he said if it was on Switch, we'd all buy it. I'm gonna buy it on PS4 or Xbox One anyway. So but I can still sit here and tell the truth.
That has nothing to do with this IGN.
I don't understand people
writing up this preview like it's he's
right. It has nothing to do with, like, people can't separate stuff. That's what I don't understand about people. It's like, I can critique something and still like it. I'm critiquing it because I like it. I care enough to critique it.
Well, I guess the problem here is that's not the problem here.
Critiquing IGN right now.
I'm just saying in general, like.
Yeah, it's just funny that when.
But I know where the core of this shit comes from. It comes from this idea that games are like a medium of art, and so a lot of fucking games that are going in that direction. That's the reason why I mentioned Last of Us and Uncharted, because they're both going. They both were like, I wouldn't say the start, but they definitely were some of the heavy hitters.
They do,
but the art doesn't come from his story though. The art doesn't.
Nothing to do with the art. It's the cinematic.
I'm saying it pushed a narrative.
Yeah,
it's cinematic. Video games as an art form, like this is it taken to the 10th degree.
Yeah,
that's what
it's an exaggeration on something that was already.
It really always was.
It always was.
It's a set. It's a movie set that you can interact with. So what the fuck? If a movie is art, then
of course
then I understand. But a movie set that you could walk on and say, action at any fucking time, like, obviously that's a live production fucking piece of art.
But this is the overly snobbish, pretentious, version of video games.
It sounds like the dude who wrote this is the type of motherfucker who thinks pressing A to jump is an inconvenience because it doesn't fit with the realism of the situation.
You mean like
Mario, he tapping X to whip?
I can't play Mario games because Mario games are fucking games in which I jump 50 feet off the ground. That's not realistic. Plumbers don't have those kind of proportions. How does Mario walk like that?
But you can be a bullet sponge and take 9 shots in the head.
And then their response to that is, well, it's a video game.
Yeah. It's just
you're like, what the fuck? Wait a minute.
Because I went back and after Zobi had pointed that out for God of War, and then he was reading reviews for Uncharted and like The Last of Us. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read some Zelda reviews. And almost I only read like maybe the first part of like 4 or 5 different major sites, and they all started talking about the game immediately. Like, they were talking about what you're doing in the game, all the shit you can do in the game. They're not trying to paint this fucking picture of Hyrule with talking about the shadows of the clouds going across, the flowing grass. Like, they're just talking about the game and the game.
It's also because Nintendo games don't never really push that same kind of narrative, though.
And they start with game.
Yeah, like that's like if you could go find any other game that has a heavy story emphasis on it, and it would start out the same exact way. If it's a modern game.
We're making fun of the culture surrounding. We're not talking about the game itself. Yeah. We're talking about the narrative of the gaming culture and how they
have to pimp it because they know they.
Right. First of all, so there's no need to get defensive about the game.
No, 2K is about to give them that check. Number one, let's just be real. They're about to buy a shitload of ad revenue. It's every time you click on IGN, you're gonna see 2K and then you're gonna see Red Dead Redemption 2 logos every fucking.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. So they have to.
We know the game.
You know what I mean? They've got a lube and spit.
What's funny about that article though is if it hadn't said Red Dead 2, man, I never would have guessed that shit.
Yeah, I was surprised they actually mentioned pressing buttons a few times, but there was a couple paragraphs where it was just like what the fuck what is he describing here? Like
you
a
could
painting?
barely tell it was like a
He's trying to
western.
describe an
That's what I thought it
experience
was.
without actually just telling us about how the game works.
I thought it
No.
was one of those damn romance novels.
Exactly. Now, if they did this for every game, okay, but it stands out so much because it's always the cinematic story heavy. Basically, the Sony exclusives is what gets this treatment for. It's like, oh, I want to really make it sound special, and it's like, whether it's because Nintendo games are all about the gameplay or not, but
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, you could have described a scene like that.
Yeah, I mentioned that
similar
earlier.
way, but they're just so excited about all the things they could do that they want to talk about it in the review. All these things you could do in this world.
It's not just Sony games, but a lot of Sony exclusives have gone in that direction.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunately pushed the narrative that everything is like a fucking
Right.
experience, like an artistic masterpiece, and you're like, guys, I just want to
you
watch
watch
some
their
buttons and
E3
jump off a fucking
presentation. I
cliff.
mean, how more artsy fartsy bullshit can you get than
Yeah.
an E3 presentation? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
that's where I'm at on that. So like with the whole with respect to The Last of Us, right? Do you kill weird spawn motherfuckers, right? And how and do you run from them? Do you hide from them? Is it fun to shoot your gun? Is it fun to shoot the bow and arrow? How good is it to navigate the environment while you're running away from people? That should be the focus. Like I don't
right. Tell me
That's
how
why
to
I love.
I can see how it looks by looking at the motherfucker. I don't need you to tell me all that stuff.
That's why
tell
I
me how
love-
does it feel when I pull my guns out and blast and and aim and jump on the horse and how does the horse control? Tell me that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what Shadow Fox just described is basically why I love the new Tomb Raider games. Is like you got this environment, and they gave Lara Croft this great move set and great controls. Unless you're playing on Xbox One, apparently Rise of the Tomb Raider had weird input lag problem, and you're basically like you can have so much freedom to move around and shoot animals if you want to, and like just getting around is so fun. They nailed that so well that it makes, for me, like I don't care about the story being as interesting as an Uncharted or the Lara Croft being as interesting of a character to
you already know the story though. Like
it's just like it's
It's kind of the problem with making it
rewarding and so well done, just moving through the environments that's why I'm surprised that more like Nintendo gamers who played these newer Tomb Raiders didn't love. Like I was surprised when Clocked it didn't love the series like I thought he would when I basically talked him into buying Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm like, man, it's a great game, and he just didn't get into it. I'm just like, man, like it's all about the gameplay for me, and I get it right.
To be fair, I mean, I've bought I think I bought the original Tomb Raider 2013 twice. I think I have it on PS3 and on PC.
Yeah, I got it on PC and
it literally took me until this year to even like legit start it.
Oh wow.
Because it still comes off as like another. Oh, I guess we're gonna turn this into an experience more than just like me playing the game.
It becomes Metroid real quick. It becomes Metroid.
Yeah. Oh no, I've noticed that now. But like my initial thoughts going into it was just kind of like it just has like for me, it's someone who is very gameplay heavy, and also because I don't really care for like modern Sony's aesthetic when it comes to like current games, like this whole movie shit. Like initially for me, it was like my first experience was just kind of like, I don't know if I really give a shit or not, and that's just become a barrier for me because I'm the reverse of like a modern gamer who's like, man, I love God of War, shit was amazing, and then what was amazing about it? Oh, the story, and I'm like, that means little to me at all.
The set pieces, man.
That's the one thing about the original Tomb Raider that I felt they did too often was the set piece stuff. And
also, the original Tomb Raider is like borderline torture porn.
But in Tomb Raider,
original reboot,
1995. Okay, thank you.
In Tomb Raider, they at least served a purpose, though. The majority of them, though, they were literally just hiding loads for the next area. That when you're like,
when you're crawling, when you're like squeezing through let's say some rubble, you have to climb underneath. That's definitely for loading the next area. But I'm talking about the running.
Like you fall off a fucking like the plane falls off the waterfall. That's taking you to another area. So it's so some of that is hiding it too. And I understand, like it It makes
better than
sense.
QTEs in my opinion. It's just a little couple minute section where you have to you're going down the river and you have to steer yourself so you don't hit these spikes or whatever. And like Terrell said, borderline torture porn. There's some pretty gruesome deaths in that first game.
It's like every 5 minutes that girl dies. It's like, man, look how ridiculous this shit is.
I didn't even see all of them until I went back to go replay the game.
I cared to, my God.
Man, I'm hearing all these words now, like torture porn and squeezing through. I gotta start these two Tomb Raider games.
You've been drinking again, haven't you, Retro?
They definitely her character. Her face looks different in the new one versus the first two. Like they made her look more like the voice actress.
Okay,
that's kind of a weird change. They changed a couple. Jonah looks different, and it's like that was kind of a weird change. But
I never liked that shit because it's like you're trying to tie the character to the voice, and I'm like,
I don't know,
or to the actress. I'm like, Lara Croft is a character, so when she switches voices, she should still be Lara Croft. When you make her look too much like the actor, then it's like, oh, now it's an actress playing Lara Croft.
Oh, the actress, I agree. She's attractive, but the first game,
that's besides the point.
Going back to play the first game, other than the opening CGI, you can definitely see the last gen, in the character model. Like, they had, so it's a difference between going from a 7th gen game to an 8th gen game. They added a lot more polygons and all that, so she wasn't going to look exactly the same. But from Rise, which was also kind of a cross gen, but it was mostly a current gen.
Yeah,
it's a little weird that she looks as different as she does, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, the original one was a PS3 game at some point, so you have to make concessions for.
All they did was
even in the PC version, you can see that when you run it in a higher resolution and all that, then you can really tell that the polygon rates were kind of low for her.
So, but anyway, I got a confession. I currently have Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh no, the humanity!
But
oh right,
I did not pay for it.
Like it's a big deal. I forget.
I did not pay for it.
But I feel pay for it
because he's talking bad shit. So he gotta do some damage control.
I feel like I should tell people that I have. It's not just a free trial. Somebody was nice enough and suggested I had join their family plan, and I was like, well, dude, you don't have to. I mean, I really don't want to, but because Psyonix had to delay their cross-platform friend lobby system for it could be months. They didn't give a time. It was supposed to be out last week, and that was going to be my way to keep playing Rocket League with with Cray and Collected and T. You weren't going to get the Switch Online, so because of that, I was like, all right, here's my email address. That's all I needed. I got the link. I clicked it, signed in, and boom, I got the service. I did not try the NES, whatever that stupid name is. It's like a ridiculously long name.
NES Online.
NES Online.
You'll see me playing Gradius for 9 hours straight.
They literally the reason why it's long is because they just say the whole thing is a Nintendo Entertainment System Online.
Me and Santiago thought when you said you didn't pay for it, you were gonna say that you traded in some games.
No, did not pull Alex. You still paying for it if you trade in games.
Who the fuck trades in games? I'm sorry. Let me stop.
Yeah, I didn't buy when I traded in games. Well, then you used your money that you would have got for trading.
Didn't you and Nia get into that shit too?
And then you got even less money because you probably could have sold those titles individually and got more for it.
Yeah, I sold Mario
GameStop.
Tennis Aces for $45 used instead of trading it in for 20.
Exactly. Like, oh my god, who does that still?
Well, especially the GameStop. Fuck that shit.
GameStop.
Yeah, your mother.
They're like, hey, give me your pennies, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hand you $2. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh wow, thanks for the deal, sir.
It's like, oh wait, hold on, I need
motherfuckers out their mind.
So anyway, I did not try. I thought it was like Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Entertainment System Online or something. I thought it was like.
I think now you're just making it longer than it.
No,
that would make more sense.
I think that was the original. Let's see if it says it somewhere.
I'm pretty sure it's just Nintendo Entertainment System Online.
Yeah, it's Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not just Nintendo. It's Nintendo Entertainment System dash Nintendo Switch Online.
Yep.
So when someone boots that game up on your friends list, it only gets to about Nintendo Entertain, and then it runs out of characters. So I didn't try that. I didn't have Rocket League doesn't work with the smartphone app, so I had no reason to test that. I will eventually test it just to see how it works, hear how the quality is. And then I checked the save data 3 days later. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I got cloud save. Everything's set to auto, and it only backed up 3 games. It was like Mario Odyssey, which I haven't played in.
Wait, it was automatically set to auto for you?
Everything was
I had to
set
change
to auto. It was automatic. It was already on auto. It backed up 3 games. No other games were pending. So I actually had to click on each game manually and back them up, because if I'm gonna have it, I'm gonna have make sure Zelda's backed up and some other games.
That's strange. I had to turn mine on. I wonder if they just started doing that.
No, I even flicked it off and flicked it back on to see if it would instantly start, and nothing happened. So basically, since I didn't use the voice chat, I didn't do the Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online games. It just felt like what I had already had, and it didn't feel like anything was gained by other than, hey, I can play Rocket League. So I don't have much to report. I didn't try Splatoon 2 or any. I know Retro Death said you had some issues with the Splatfest. Same issues, getting disconnects and stuff like that. But I will say, and maybe this can lead into a discussion. Before I got the service, just when I thought the shit couldn't be any worse from my perspective, Rocket League's season ends, season 8, which is you play, it's like 6 months, and you get your rank in competitive play. You get a rank, and at the end of the season, wherever rank you were, you get a reward based on how far you got. So if you got bronze, you get a bronze reward. If you get silver, you get bronze and silver. So I was up to gold on the Switch. So I turn it on. I'm like, all right, I'll just turn it on. It's been 2 weeks since I turned my Switch on. I'll collect the rewards and whatever. I know I can't play online, but I at least want to get to see what they are, equip them to my car, maybe just kind of mess around with the game offline, in a private lobby or whatever. So I turn the game on, and before I think you even see Psyonix, it says Nintendo Switch Online membership required. Cancel or go to store or whatever. So I was like, cancel. Fuck, I don't want that. I'm not going to get that. It's weird that it said it right there. Get into the menu, and it looks just like my Switch in portable mode when I don't have Wi-Fi signal. It's 100% offline. It forces the Switch to basically act like it's like you're away from Wi-Fi. Couldn't connect to the Rocket League servers. Couldn't get my rewards, which has nothing to do with playing online with friends or randoms. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll just fuck it. I'll just train. So I go to the training, the custom training packs that I've already downloaded. Had no access to those. And I guess I could understand it doesn't want you to be able to download any future training packs or something, but absolutely nothing. It was just a blank screen.
You already paid for something. You should be fucking.
And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with playing online? Like, it just makes no sense. So it just tells me they didn't communicate with Psyonix or probably other games and say, hey, we got to limit them playing the games online, the multiplayer, but the game still has to be able to connect. So if there was like a free content update, I don't, unless it's listed under a patch, I don't know if I'd even be able to access it offline.
I am curious.
I don't think it's nefarious. I think because I've heard people talk about that. He talked about was it Lego Worlds? You can't download DLC.
It was actually a new Lego game, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think it's nefarious. I just think it speaks to Nintendo's ineptitude when it comes to this. That they didn't weigh out all the stuff when they implemented this online service. It just shows you how much they just weren't willing or were unable to really like put something together that didn't disrupt all this stuff that is disrupting. I don't think they even knew a lot of this stuff was going to happen. It's just because of the way they have their online service set up.
I think it's just a lack of, well, that's going to actually require some kind of specific trigger to say, hey, oh wait, you're trying to play online now, we need to stop you, versus oh, you got some content that the game, all it has to do is connect to the server when you boot the game up. You're not playing online, but nope, we got to block that because we don't have any other solution. And it was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was so mad about that. I was like, well, I guess I'll never play this game again on Switch because there's nothing I can do other than just, I can't access even some of the basic stuff. So it's, I don't know what other games. I tried Snake Pass because that has an online leaderboard system, and it still showed the online leaderboards. So maybe because that game doesn't have online competitive or online play at all, it just you upload and download like people's best times. So maybe that didn't get triggered or on their list of, hey, we got to block this. But I really don't know for sure, but I have a feeling if I bought Rocket League or somebody had it on PS4 and I installed it, I think it would at least let me connect and do some stuff and just not play online multiplayer. I don't know for a fact. I'd be curious to find out if Xbox or PlayStation, if you don't have the online, because my PS4, the games I do have, lets me do a lot of stuff. Even if it has online multiplayer, it still lets me do a lot of other stuff. It doesn't just, hey, this game's offline now. Your system's offline if you boot this game up. And it's just another example of this not being thought out like it should have. And I don't think it counts that I got someone said that I got the service. And I don't.
Paid, so technically, I mean, you didn't pay for it, but
no, I wouldn't pay for it. And after having used it, I even feel less inclined to ever pay for it. So
I do have hope that it will get better. I feel like they just flipped the switch and all this shit happened.
They flipped the switch.
Ready for. Get it? Flip the switch. I do feel like we'll get better, and when it gets better, then I'll jump on because it's not that far away.
I thought it was going to be coming after 1 month though.
Well, here's what
it's not that far away. That's what's most infuriating. Is that they just need to tweak a couple of things, few things here and there, and it'll be worth it. And that's why
I find it angry. I find it very convenient that we're all against this Switch Online shit, and the only person who kind of wasn't against it is taking a very convenient break right now.
So it's not convenient.
I kind of I kind of talked about this last week. Where I was like, maybe we should just taking what the service has, not restarting and not coming up with stuff that couldn't just be added to what already is offered. Thought maybe we could try to be more positive and try to come up with what things they could put in place or add in the coming weeks or months that would be all right, starting to be a little more appealing. Like T said, it's not that far away because for me personally, just being able to message my friends, which sounds ridiculous because PlayStation, I can do that. I can send screenshots. I can do everything without PlayStation Plus. I can just do that right now. I can get on my PS4 and I was sending Terrell, Gravity Rush 2 screenshots, just say, hey, you should get this game.
Xbox One too.
And I didn't have to have PlayStation Plus. But so to say that for me, like just a really good messaging system could be the fun, like, but say, okay, maybe now I'll consider getting it because I mean, that is something I'd like to have, but is that enough? So I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah. Well, I would add, optional voice chat app, and to add to your messaging, I would say, well, if it's too hard to implement on the system, like they're acting like it is, then open that up for the app. I would love to use the app for messaging.
Because then
we talked about that a long time ago before we knew any of this stuff. That would be a great thing for the app to do. I'd love to be able to just pick up my phone instead of using my controller to message people. So just implement that into the chat app or into the app, and make the voice chat optional if you want to use the head. I don't know who would want to use it over the if you're going to use voice chat, which I'm most likely not going to do most of the time anyway on the system. But if you're going to do that, then make it optional for I can use my online app, or I could use the native voice chat from the system. And the thing about the native voice chat from the system is that it's like, even if you do that, you have to have like a wired thing, and you have to be like 5 feet tops from your switch and all that stuff. But Nintendo has done things before where you're like, all right, this is something we want everybody to have. Let's bundle it. When Smash comes out, why not bundle a headset with it, or a wireless kind of headset or something with it? So a lot of people will have that going forward, and then a lot of this nonsense can dissipate. Like with the 4 megabyte RAM expansion pack, they wanted people to have that thing. So what did? They bundled it with games. They bundled it. Some games that required it. Rumble Pack. It was bundled with the game that made Rumble a thing, which was Star Fox. And, they knew a lot of people probably had it. So they started implementing Rumble into a lot of their games. So that it's not something they haven't done. We're not asking them to, reinvent the wheel here. This is stuff that they've done themselves when they really cared enough to get people to use stuff. You want me to use that app? Then add some cool stuff to it. Give me messaging and I'll use it.
Well, here's the thing that surprised me the most about the app. What it works exactly like it did before. They did nothing. They added nothing to the app. It doesn't show your friends. All there is Splatnet 2, and it activates once you're in like if you boot up Mario Kart 8 and go to a lobby, it just automatically boots over. Like I know some people clocked it, and some other people were worried you'd have to click the game you wanted to chat in, and they thought it would be. So that's the one thing that they actually got right. It just if you got the app open, it just automatically, as soon as you get into a lobby, it talks to the app and says, "Hey, do you want to voice chat or whatever?" So that's kind of nice. But the fact that before that happens, the app looks just like it did day one, July, forget the date, 2017. It looks exactly. It has not changed in one way, shape, or form. There's no friends. Doesn't show you who's online. I was kind of hoping it would be kind of a portal to, here's all your friends that are online currently. Here's what they're playing. Send them a message, send them an invite. That was kind of the thing, and that's something they can still add. It'd be more of a pretty major change, but something like a really good app is all I was really asking for before, when they basically delayed it for a year. I was like, just make the app really good.
Yeah, just jazz the app up. Like, you didn't have to even do anything to the OS. Obviously you have to update the OS to some degree because it has to talk to the app. But
that,
yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
You were gonna say something?
Nah, I was so as the resident individual that is I don't even know if I can say pro Nintendo Switch Online, but the least against it. Like everything that you guys are saying actually has weight because you're sitting down and you're actually trying to fucking use it, and you see how it's a disadvantage to you.
Mm-hmm.
Some other people are, if you follow me at all, you probably see war being waged on a daily basis because I really don't give a fuck. But it still is bewildering to me how far people will go just to make the same point that you guys are making. Like I get it. Like it sucks beyond compare. People don't like it. It's frustrating because they're finally moving to what Sony and Microsoft are doing, and Wii U, DS, and Wii before that, they were all free all this time. It's weird, and then you get that taste of free at the beginning of the 9th generation. And they're like, no, motherfucker, you're gonna pay eventually. And you're like, but it's not even better than, you know, depending on how you're looking at it, it's not even better than what you had when it was free.
It's not even better than the Wii. I don't care what it is compared to what Switch was day one.
Yeah,
because I'm a longtime Nintendo fan. I'm more of my judgment is based on what the Wii U did and what the Wii U kind of set up that they could have built upon. And that, you know, I know they wanted to wipe their hands of the Wii U and they lost money on Miiverse and blah blah blah. It was all free, but to just go so far away from that and so basic, like why doesn't the app do anything until you get into a lobby with a game? Why can't you see your friends on the app? There's no excuse for that. There's no justification.
No, that's literally them not using the tool that they have. Like,
yeah.
I already talked about the parental app. Like, it does way more than the Switch Online app does. So there's zero reason why they can't do what that thing does and more.
So they care more about their parental app than they do.
They really do. They really do.
Sad, and it's kind of telling.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, that thing gives you notifications if a certain amount of time has passed, if you've missed the system update.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you get notifications on your phone, and then it takes you directly to that page in the app and says, "Hey, your shit's fucked up. Go do, you know," or so and so is trying to log in. Enter your PIN. Like, with that capability comes, hey, we could also do this for games that are currently running or services that are currently running, or hey, you left Netflix on too long. Do you want to turn it off? That all that stuff could be happening, you know, and that's frustrating.
That's what I'm saying. I'm frustrated at that. People, you got to pay. Look, I knew it was coming. Like, we've been talking about this for a long time. I don't care about paying, but just, you know, give me a value. Give me some value.
Yeah.
And NES games are not. I think what they thought was the value was the NES games,
right? And that's just.
And,
like,
but you gotta honor them for that though, because motherfuckers still buying NES classics, man.
But no, that's good. But here's the problem with the NES thing, like the NES Online. The problem is we had Virtual Console forever, and it feels like you're taking Virtual Console away to implement this, and it's not anywhere near what Virtual Console offered.
Hey, aren't there some rumors about them bringing it back though? Like, somebody found some code somewhere. Or some shit?
I think it had to do with it wasn't about the actual them implementing a new Virtual Console. It just had to do with basically their offerings of past Virtual Console. It's some weird coding thing. I think. I don't think it had anything to do with them bringing back.
It was in Japanese. I don't know.
There's no way they bring back Virtual Console with NES Online being a thing. It wouldn't make any sense. It's just like,
and why
at this point,
it's like they think like, oh, we'll wait to tell them the final lineup. Oh, there's more games coming. We won't let you know. It's going to be a surprise. Like,
why?
I really think they think this is the selling point of the whole thing.
I think it would have been awesome if they just if Nintendo Switch Online, when you ran the app, it literally just scanned your profile, because it knows everything you have on your Wii U profile now. So it just scans your Wii U profile that was, you know, uploaded to
like, it would be
to Amazon, and
NES Online would be amazing if the Wii didn't exist. It would be like, oh, that's awesome.
Or if they acknowledge that it exists, and when you log in, you see all your shit for free, and then and then whatever games you want to pay for to do online on. Yeah.
An awesome Virtual Console. That was a huge applause line for the Wii when it first was announced. That was a huge thing. I still remember that day. It was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I can play all my games virtually on this system. That's great, and that's why. In NES Online, it just pales in comparison to what it could have been. They could have came out the gate and said NES, SNES, N64, and
there's no reason not to.
And I would have been like, hell yeah, that's cool. Like, why can't they do that? Why?
And the thing is, the way they've designed this, like, it basically all the NES games are like a single game on your screen. I haven't booted it up yet, and then it works. Then you see all the box arts and stuff. So when they add games, is it gonna I mean, obviously going to update, but it's kind of I don't know if I like that. And we'll have to see what happens when they have the Super NES, because we already know, because the data miner found NES and Super NES controllers.
Yeah.
But is the Super NES going to be a completely separate game that you boot up, different app, or can you just?
I'm thinking it's gonna be a separate app. I think it's gonna have to be a separate app. Yeah,
they're basically using the same emulator they use for the classic.
But
and
I think
if you know the hardware for the classic, it's the exact same hardware for both SNES and NES.
I'd want to just boot up and have all the games be.
I have a feeling that's how it's going to be. I don't
want to have to open have two separate game, basically apps. I'm hearing an echo. Somebody got the podcast playing over speakers or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out if my headphones are too close.
No, I think you were muted. Maybe I don't know. But either way, I don't want to have to. Oh, let's play some Super NES games. Let's close this app and open the Super NES one. I really hope they don't do that. And they just join the two together, and there's a tab for NES and Super NES. And another thing, which I didn't test myself, but really kind of bugs me about the whole NES thing, is you go in and let's say I'll see, Shadow Fox online, Lil Cray online, and it's only if they're playing the NES games at that moment. Doesn't tell you which specific game they're in. So if they're playing Mario Brothers 3, you just join them if they don't have a passcode, and then you can watch what they're doing. And I'm like, okay, that's not terrible, but if I put a passcode on it, how the fuck am I going to let anyone on my friends list know what that passcode is? Like they created a passcode system, but no way to communicate the passcode to anyone, because they can't join you and talk to you if they don't know the passcode. So you would have to actually know them outside of the Switch, whether Twitter, Discord, actual cell phone number. You'd have to know them, say, hey, here's the code. Like, it makes no sense to have a code system if there's no way to tell your friends on your friends list what that code is. It just, to me right there, that says it all about how well this was, or how not, or unwell this was thought out. Like, that just makes no sense whatsoever.
We're supposed to be focusing on the positive, guys.
I know. So here's
make it better.
Here's what they can do. You bring it up. You know, obviously a messaging system's in place, so you could say, or it just shows your whole friends. Let's say, hey, you want click on Mizati. Let's say you have it. Hey, you want to play some Contra? If Contra was on there, that would almost be enough to buy the damn thing. But I'd be like, hey, you want to play some 2-player? Here's the code, because I don't want somebody else to join me while I'm waiting for T to boot up the game. Like that, to me, that would be a huge thing. And just say what game they're in. Hey, they're playing Super Mario Brothers 3. All right, like it's just so weird, and it just feels so unthought out.
So,
you know why I don't think this is my messaging system is coming? Because when they revealed Smash Brothers' menu, you could see they have an in-game messaging system for Smash, making me think like they've thought that out to put a messaging system into Smash. I don't think there's no way it's actually going to come to the Switch system itself.
I agree.
Yeah, it could be game specific. That's another.
I think Retro might be right. Cause I feel like because that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, they've been doing game specific.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
Yeah, because we complain about how good ARMS is. We don't complain about how good it is. We talk about how good the setup
lobby system.
Yeah, that is, and then you look at other Nintendo games. Like, do you guys not talk to each other? Like, what? Why?
How is that not
so lackluster over here when ARMS is so great? And they're just disjointed that way. For them, it's a separate thing. And it's going to be a per game thing, just like voice chat, just like cloud saves. It's per game. It's not universal, and that's just how they operate.
So that would be the thing to change. The positive would be to just make it a universal system that works with any game that has online multiplayer, except for like a game like Fortnite. Hey, Epic uses their own account. It works multi-platform, cell phone, everything syncs up. So that would be an exception. Anything else, there's no reason the voice chat app shouldn't work with Rocket League. It's going to work with Diablo 3. So, all right, you're going to put it on the developers to have to implement that. That's what the Wii U had. The Wii U had full voice chat built in. The developers just had to use it. And a couple did. Rocket League did. Monster Hunter, I believe. That's not how you do it. You have to make it like any game coming to Switch with online they'd be forcing them to use the app for voice chat. If that's the way Nintendo wants to do it,
You want them to be a clone of the other system?
just do it. So it's system wide. So there is no bullshit. So if Smash Brothers has a messaging system, which it better have it because they has
like
the
it
same
does.
code, or they'll probably implement the same kind of code system. So that just and Smash 4, it was just like everybody had to accept, hey, you want Retro Death to join your group, and then we'd all say yes, which is sometimes someone would accidentally hit no because they were pressing a button for picking a character.
Accidentally, huh?
Well, like they're picking a character, and all of a sudden this thing pops up, and they hit B.
Yeah.
Some of those were not accidental. That's all I'm gonna say.
Some weren't, but most were.
Especially when it came to Retro Death. No.
And so
AKA just can't be trusted. Is what it
if
is.
I don't know if ARMS has a code system. I think it does.
Yeah, you can create a code
Yeah.
system if you want to.
Yes. Splatoon, I think for some
Yeah.
lobbies. Why
Yeah.
is like just make that a standard feature for any online game that has like a friends lobby system? It should be. This is what it needs, in my opinion. And then it almost could be more of a full price thing if they implemented all this stuff, but just have it be a system wide messaging or voice chat. Like any game that's online, the voice chat works. Why doesn't Rocket League have voice chat? Why doesn't this game have voice chat? It's so disjointed. It just seems like they really didn't have a plan and they didn't execute it. So I mean, at that point, with everything we've said, I mean, it would be a pretty good system if they did that. But what's actually practical? What's actually likely?
None of it.
Yeah, I think the
just
only thing
doesn't
that's likely is each game has its own rule set.
It's like they want to make money, right? I don't understand.
It's like it seems like from what they're doing now, select games or select third party games are going to support it. And going forward, every first party game will. But as of right now, it seems like the majority of the third parties are on their own. From what I could tell here. So like let's see here. So I got Mario Tennis, Aces, ARMS, Mario Kart, Nintendo Switch Online. And if you wanted to, I guess in the future, like the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, I don't know why that's not supporting it, but I mean it should. And you would figure any of the fighting games really at this point should have it.
Yeah, does Dragon Ball Fighters use the app for voice chat?
Not to my knowledge, no.
No.
That's just
so, which is just weird. Like you would figure that it just seems like it's going to be Nintendo only. There may be a couple of big third party games that might use it at some point, but
Diablo 3 confirmed that's
Diablo 3 is going to use it. But is that because Nintendo's publishing it?
probably.
Yeah. See, and that's a whole nother.
The more I think about it, the more I would laugh when someone asked me, "Are you bringing Call of Duty to the Switch?" If they had, maybe he had some inside knowledge on how this online service was going to be, because it's just like, just at the bare minimum, just make it universal. Like the app's there, voice chat's there. It should work with any game that is online.
If you think about it, though, they could really do the per game lobby system thing. They could do that the same way they did for the Wii U. The only problem about that is now you're making a 2-core game. So your game is you're going to be dealing with 2 processors at that point for your game. Because you're assuming that you have to always assume that somebody's going to be mobile with this shit. Why somebody would want to be mobile playing online in a Call of Duty game, I don't know, but you have to assume that as a developer. So now you're talking only 2 processor cores and 2 low power processor cores at that running the game, because you want to dedicate one to voice chat, and you're going to have to do that.
Well, that's why I just use the app. Just make the app such a like work so they don't have to do a lot. It's just that's part of developing a game on the Switch. Here's our voice chat solution. It should be be supported. Maybe come 6 months from now, I'll be like looking back and all these games will use it. But
yeah, update your development kit to
that's what I was gonna say. Do you think the development kits haven't updated, or that everybody out there has gotten the new updates?
And why didn't Bandai or whoever published Dragon Ball FighterZ like this shit? I'm guessing like Nintendo didn't let us know. So did they let developers know how this whole structure?
Yeah, call Nintendo, man, and find out what's happening, and then go from there. Like, you know, you're about to publish a game, and it's online. The majority of your sales and word of mouth is going to come from how the online works. Fucking make the voice chat work. Like, figure out, call them, you know, whatever
like
they have to do.
If Nintendo didn't let us know, did they let developers know months ago? Like,
I'm guessing not, because they were trying to keep most of it under wraps anyway. They didn't want to tell people that, because if they gave them the SDK, they were going to know everything about all the hooks underneath. They were going to know about the Nintendo Switch Online, the NES Online, and all the other kind of stuff they were trying to quote unquote surprise us with.
But they were talking about that for a long time.
All the other stuff.
The NES games online.
But remember before, like Reggie kept it as a secret a year ago, I think. He was like, "Hey, we have something that it's gonna be worth it." And that was the card he was holding.
We need to pull up that. We need to pull up that Pro Jared review or interview with Reggie, like not too long after the Switch came out.
Yeah,
and he was really grilling him about the online, the voice chat, and he was talking about, oh, you're on the train, you know, it just makes sense. Everybody has their phone, and we think it's an elegant solution. But my memory's telling me he mentioned game invites, setting up play times, basically. Like, hey, we're gonna play Smash tonight. Like, none of that's there.
I mean, it is there in Splatoon, but it's so roundabout. You got to create the lobby first, then go to the app, and then start the session on the app, and then send social media invites out.
Oh, you mean cumbersome?
Yeah.
I think that's only how it works in Splatoon.
Very cumbersome.
I don't think it works that way in any other game.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think the Nintendo Online thing, it just directly works, but
because I
think the problem is like what the Jew said earlier, that within Nintendo, like the departments are just not listening to each other. I can already imagine like the guy who's working on Smash, like, hey Nintendo, we kinda need like a messaging system maybe on the Switch, and the dude is like, man, we're trying to put leaderboards in Super Mario Brothers 3. Get the fuck back to your desk, you know. And that's working.
It'll be interesting because I have a theory that little envelope symbol in Smash is just the notifications that you had in Smash 4. Like, hey, so-and-so uploaded a clip.
Was it an envelope, or was it like two people kind of icon thing? I thought I saw that.
It was notices. It was a notices.
But I kind of think that's what that's a theory I have. That is
like it's not even a message.
Yeah, I don't.
That would be even worse.
But I will say I would feel a lot better about Smash Ultimate if they said, you know what, forget, you know, we're gonna take the time, we're gonna put forth the effort, and it had like a really good lobby and messaging system specific. But then again, you probably only could message people who are actually in the game already, so it's just gonna be.
And you can't actually message them, you know. You get like on the D-pad, you get like 4 options, like fight me, leave me alone.
That's probably what's gonna be predetermined things you can send them. Want to play? You know, like
that was awesome.
we laugh at this now. In 2 months, we'll cry.
Oh no, we laugh because we know that's probably what's coming.
So so far Splatoon is the only one that's bootleg, because I just tried NES Online and ARMS.
Yeah, there's no way to let your friends know on social media that you're playing.
No, not well. You can. You can immediately start the lobby. Like as soon as you create a voice chat, as soon as you create a new session and you have the app open, it'll take you to the app and say, "Hey, start a voice chat session," and then you start the lobby that takes forever for you to set up in Splatoon 2. It just takes you directly there.
And that's what I want to test. Did you boot up ARMS? You have ARMS?
Yes.
and you go to like friends and create when you probably have nobody online, but does
No.
that give you an option to let people know, hey, I'm playing arms, you know?
No, it just right now it just shows the just the lobby with you sitting in there.
And you just gotta hope people jump online.
Yeah, I hope people
You're
drop
online
in.
and join your match.
Yeah. So far, but then you can talk to randoms. Like randoms can hop in here too, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, the problem with the random mode is just the party mode. There's no you can't just have randoms. Well, you have the what's it called, Terrell? The ranked or whatever.
Yeah, rank mode.
Yeah, I probably didn't even think you probably talked to them. Not that I really don't care about talking to randoms, me personally. So I'd rather just have a good way to let my friends know I'm playing arms and hey, come join me. But
I guess realistically, because most of us have a hangout, like it's for us is not a big deal, but the core problem, but like for everyone else is, and I guess that's maybe the problem is that you shouldn't have to go to a third party source to do something in game.
And but they already have the third party source, your phone for the app. Why not at least just have us a way to do game invites and message, like even if it's
just make a chat app. Just make a chat app and then have it just do whatever. And all it does is just pass you notifications and say, hey, so and so is online, so and so is streaming, so and so is doing.
They get a notification and they click it and it opens the Nintendo Switch Online app and say Terminator Juice said, hey, you want to play arms? You know, I mean, just that to me, really, that's all it needs at this point for $20 a year. And I'm like, okay, you know, it's not the greatest, but that's all I needed with, you know, the cloud saves, and which it's, you know, it's silly that you can't back up your save data any other way. Like Ms. T's last video or second to last video, whatever it was.
Well, I already discussed that though, right? We know why, right?
It doesn't matter why when you could back up your save data on the fucking Wii U and 3DS. It's just
no. I mean, you could then, but that was why they got hacked.
Who cares about getting hacked?
Like, well, the Switch
they do.
The Switch has been.
That's
hacked,
why you're doing the cloud shit right now.
Make a better damn.
But the Switch has already been hacked.
Yeah, the Switch is the most hacked console on the planet.
Don't believe Spawnwave with that shit.
That was the PSP. Are already gonna hack.
Well, currently it's the PSP, but that could change.
Yeah. So the currently right now, so the Switch is hacked, right? But if you hack your Switch, there are caveats, extreme caveats.
You can't go online, which who gives a shit? Because I ain't paying for that shit. No.
Yeah, you can't go online.
Well, then if they're paying for the online service, or if they want to hack their system and do offline stuff, I mean, in my opinion, who gives a shit? Like, if they want to keep their Switch offline and hack it and do whatever the fuck they want, like as soon as they sign, Nintendo should be able to say, "Oh, there's something wrong here," and brick the system.
You can't punish your entire fan base because there's some bad apples.
Well, no, they don't. They can check to see if you have a boot. Is what I'm saying.
No, I mean they are punishing us.
Oh, you talking about the local saves?
Yeah. Well, that ain't the cloud saves. So Splatoon 2 and Pokemon is the same thing. Both of those games shouldn't be locked out because of the fear of cheating with the game.
People already.
I thought of a way they could do it, and the way I thought that they could do it is literally use something similar to what the Photos app does on your console, because that's the only app that can interface with a game and saves and also write to an SD card at the same time. So it will be a type of an app like that, but it will only pull data from what you already backed up to the cloud. So that way you can write to it.
Or what about just limiting how often they can recover their save data? Like if someone was going to hack or try to trade stuff and then go back to an old save file, they'd have to continually recover that save data. How about
one time is too many, because then you give up the hash. You don't want to give that up. You want that to always change.
So what does everybody else do?
Huh? They don't care. They just ban. They don't care. Microsoft, Sony don't care. They just ban.
So ban if someone's gonna hack and ruin Splatoon.
You know what my other issue is? It's inconsistent. Like, oh well, Splatoon people would use the cloud saves to get back to a rank that they may have lost. But I'm like, but ARMS has ranks, and I can cloud save that.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't make sense.
Like
the Splatoon developers, They're
Dickheads.
weird. I don't understand their choices. It was the same thing with the voice chat
This is
before.
the dickheads. I like
Yeah.
how the beta for voice chat was the worst game that has voice chat on the Switch right now. The Splatoon 2 has the worst voice
That's
chat.
the most convoluted of all of them.
And it's like, why in the fuck is that? Why was that the beta?
And they didn't even change it. They
Oh,
didn't
hell no. Well, no, because
It's still the same.
You know why? It's because the developer's dictating the rules on that. It's not the company. It's like, oh, well, the developer said this is how we want the voice chat to work, and they just say, okay, fine, fuck it. That's what we'll do.
Nintendo's like, okay, the game's popular, great.
And I'm like, guys, that's not how you do that. Listen,
Why do they only care about it now and not previous systems? Like, why is this such a big
What do you
thing
mean?
that they care about now?
The local backups and stuff he's still talking about, right?
Oh yeah, because I guess they realized that both of their systems got owned, and they got tired of dealing with them and going back and forth. Like right now to this day, even though yeah, Nintendo could still brick your system, you could literally download ISOs and rip games and play them in the emulator right now by pulling legit ISOs from the actual fucking eShop. You can literally pull them. Yes, they're ripping them directly from you. You literally pretend to be a Wii U console, and you go on the eShop and you pull down fucking Wii U and 3DS games. That is legitimately what's happening right now. And there's nothing they can do. I'm sorry.
Here's the solution: don't charge people for the cloud saves. Then, if they can't come up with a better solution,
that's a good point.
Then don't block the cloud saves behind.
Yeah, but see, I think they're following Sony on that because Sony does the same thing.
Well, Sony gives
you an option though.
Don't they give you a way to back up?
Yeah, you can use a USB.
But that went until recently.
Yeah, you can't. The cloud saves aren't free, but yeah, you can do both systems. You could do local backup, and it was until recently, like you said, because neither the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 used it at first until
but the 360
they noticed that the Wii U was like you can connect any fucking thing and get saves.
Yeah, because like the what was it? The PS4 didn't get it until what early last year.
Yeah, and then the whole thing was, well, we got bigger hard drives, and Wii U is like, bring your own hard drive, and that was the end of that. And you can put your saves on SD cards, and then they're like, well, maybe we should do this too, because these 90 gig games, and then that's where they started changing things. So,
and somebody in the chat asked a good question, he says, wouldn't it be viable for Splatoon to do like Overwatch and probably Fortnite and have all the online progression be stored server side instead of just backing up your save data?
That should have been.
That would be perfect.
I bet you that's the difference between Splatoon 2 and ARMS. ARMS, I bet you it is server related, whereas Splatoon 2 is local.
But I mean, just you sign in and just like Fortnite, like okay, it's not loading the game. Once it loads the game, it's loading your profile.
Yeah, it's not a lot of data. It's nothing like Fortnite. So you don't even. It is not even remotely the same with regard to I would say impact. The only impact would be the amount of simultaneous connections, but the database itself holding user information, no, that's nothing. Like
what are they doing to stop people from cheating in the jump rope thing in Mario Odyssey? That's the real question.
Oh god! Isn't that an online leaderboard too?
Yeah, it is.
People in Japan with like 7,000.
Yeah, and people didn't do it.
Why are you picking and choosing your battles with cheats? And you seem to take the big battles are the ones we fucking lose as a consumer.
Yeah.
And you give me like I can plug in a flash drive and I'd back up Zelda and probably Rocket League or something if I had the ability. You're not gonna create. I guess maybe there would be some people who normally wouldn't hack a system and do something like that maybe would now watch a YouTube video on how to do it. But I think the people are going to hack are going to do it, are going to find a way anyway. And maybe you give them a little bit easier.
Always find a way. Hackers always find
to do it.
Yeah,
but you're not going to make someone like me do it. You're not going to all of a sudden create a new hacker because I could have did. I mean, what systems? The Wii could have did the homebrew. I never did that shit. It's like I'm not ever going to do it. So why am I penalized?
I know how to do it. I just don't do it.
Some people are dedicated. There's people out there still streaming games over Ethernet from a GameCube. Like some people are that dedicated, but I don't understand because at this point you could just emulate it in Dolphin. But some people really want to do dumb
I guess
shit.
the core point is you don't punish the whole for the few.
Yeah.
Just come up with this. Just have, like you said, have the online progression be stored on the server so that it's not an individual. It's like, oh, it's not.
No, it probably is for other games. It just isn't for Splatoon.
Just make it.
So, because it is for Fortnite. Like for Fortnite, it doesn't matter. It's literally exactly what you want Splatoon to do.
I understand why Fortnite doesn't support Nintendo Switch Online cloud save data. It doesn't need to. They already do it themselves, so that doesn't need to. It's like redundant at that point. So I can understand why that game doesn't support it. Every other game that I have other than Splatoon 2 supports it. And
let's just hope Splatoon 2, the new update coming up, maybe will change that.
Of course,
we can hope.
Nothing about what that update actually going to bring.
They just showed octopods standing around looking lost.
It's just crazy. I mean, they joined up their handheld and console divisions. We really haven't seen the fruits of that labor yet, really. I mean, other than we know we've seen Fire Emblem coming to the Switch, but how about you sync up all departments, have a specific online team or online supervisor?
They do. They made that change in 2015.
Well, it doesn't show it because after the Mario Tennis Aces Friends Lobby system compared to ARMS, it's such a step back. It's like 10 steps back. It's like, come on. Like, why? Why can't you see how well that worked and just that's our new way of doing it?
Well, to be fair, it's not like ARMS was the best-selling game on the Wii U.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, for the Switch,
that doesn't matter. You see a good online infrastructure or lobby system.
There's no ground rules in Nintendo. That's the problem.
What I'm saying. That's what they need to do.
That's their biggest issue. It's just like every time they start a new console, they completely start from scratch.
And anyway, we're gonna call this one
positivity, guys.
So did y'all talk about the little story that wasn't a story?
What?
Metroid shirt?
No, people losing their shit over Lego World. All 12 people that bought that game.
We talked about it.
Covered that while you're gone. It's still like I don't know if you heard me talk about how Rocket League basically is offline. If you don't have the online, the game works like you have it in portable mode with no internet connection, and you can't even do the basic things. Have nothing to do with online multiplayer.
Can't use the stuff that you paid for.
The problem with that game is they set it up to where you have to pay for it. They didn't update the game. So you get your play sets in the multiplayer mode is connecting to the multiplayer server to get that stuff. And they decided to set the game up that way back when it was free.
Yeah, but why hasn't Nintendo worked with Psyonix to have that so that Retro Death has to, because he already uses free trial, he has to
not Psyonix. We're talking about TC Games now. I don't know what happened with Rocket League.
I'm talking about Rocket League.
Okay. I don't know what happened with Rocket League.
Boot up before you even see the Psyonix logo, it tells you need a Nintendo Switch Online membership. And when you don't have one, it acts like you are offline. You have no internet connection, so you can't access anything other than what's already on, like downloaded to your system, and like as far as DLC, everything. You can't get your season rewards. You can't. Like I said, I couldn't play the training packs that I had already downloaded via the internet. It acts completely offline, forces the game into offline mode. You can't do anything, even if it's not related to playing online multiplayer.
Yeah, I really think that that's a direct result of them not updating the game for the new firmware.
Yeah, and why didn't Nintendo and Psyonix? Why wasn't it already established? Hey, this is. We're putting this online. We want people to pay to play online multiplayer. There had to be some way they could talk to the Switch and say, hey, this stuff you can let in. I don't know. There's got to be a way that Retro Death shouldn't have to pay to get the rewards for the season 8 that he got up to whatever gold or silver. He can't even act because it won't let the game access the servers at all at any point. So
again, punishing people.
I mean, other games work, like other games that have like leaderboards. What was it? The Street Fighter leaderboards or whatever. Those still show up. So somebody's been updating their games. I guess everybody just haven't been updating them.
Was
And
there an actual update to Street Fighter that you downloaded? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't know if. Let me see what version this is. Let me go to it real quick. See if there's.
But what happens when you try to? Oh, you have it, but
yes.
Anybody have Street Fighter that doesn't like Retro? You have Street Fighter 2. Which one do you have, Retro? Retro?
He's dead.
Yeah, he don't die. Yeah, I can just easily switch accounts, and then it will tell me whether or not I can get online with it or not.
I'm curious if you can look at leaderboards. What does it know when you're trying to play?
Is that just because of the way Rocket League it was programmed? Maybe?
Yeah, because it does an online check as soon as you start up, and it's the same thing the Lego World does.
But it's like, why wasn't there something in place where it's like, hey, we got to make sure this is right before this goes live?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that's why you bitches were ignoring me.
Yeah, I guess. I thought you were just quiet.
Good job, sir. Good job. GG, Retro. GG.
So were you going to say something, Retro?
Yeah,
no,
I've got leaderboards up on both
Street Fighter,
accounts.
so that's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you've tried what version of Street Fighter is. I forget what it's called.
30th anniversary.
No, the one Retro has.
Ultra Street Fighter
Final
2.
Challenge or some shit, I think it was called.
So I'm wondering what happens. That has online multiplayer.
I wonder if that's true for the other games. Like if you were to get on like PS4 with those games, would it have the same issue if you didn't have the
a feeling if I have Rocket League on the PS4 but not PlayStation Plus, I'd at least be able to do the training packs and stuff, but not be able to play. Because when you go to online, it actually connects to specific servers. It's different than just booting the game up. It's not like it's constantly in this online server. It's when you go to it, you see that, hey, it's sending to the server US East and talking to it, looking for players. Like, I guess it'd probably be a small update just to have it, because they gotta fix that. It can't just lock the whole.
But that's what I said earlier, and I guess that's why nobody reacted to it. Like the Psionics, at least, like they regularly update Rocket League almost monthly and shit. So maybe now that the online is working, they notice what is going through and what not. So I can definitely see them still update so that it changes the offline, so that, for example, people like me can still get the rewards they earned and that kind of shit. But
they did say they're updating the game, though, right? They are in the process, or no?
No, they just had a big update. The game did.
Yeah. They had like a massive update, but even apart from the massive update, Psionics, they release patches like weekly almost. They add new shit, they change shit, bug fixes, they constantly always, and they've been doing that for like 3 years now or something. So
except Nintendo, it takes an extra. Still. Nintendo has an extra process, so it takes like 2 weeks to get if there's a bug fix, they still don't have the final bug fix for the last update. That sometimes your dodge roll and back flips don't register. They're fixed on the other platforms, but the Switch, they have to go through the process to get Nintendo has to approve it or whatever. So they just definitely, there shouldn't been, with that delay, there shouldn't have been any of these types of issues. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up. Yeah, I guess we'll do final thoughts. Let's keep them short and sweet. Let's start with Shadow Fox.
Well, the interesting circle of, I won't say hatred, but circle of disappointment.
We're just, legit. We're trying. We want it to be better. We're not just those people saying, "Hey, I just want Nintendo to be better." Like, we've actually. T has probably 100 Switch games. He supports Nintendo.
Yeah, he's definitely.
They call me a pretendo. Oh wait, they have. Never mind.
So we're not just.
You call yourself a pretendo.
This is like genuine users who use the Nintendo systems, daily, and see things that we want to be fixed and what we think would make the service way more appealing. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So in the event of that, I would just say stick to your facts, people, because there are people out here that are pretending to be like Mr. T and Terminator Juice, and they aren't at all interested in the well-being of the console. They're interested in views. So just be advised, if If it looks like a duck and smells like a duck, it's probably a fish. So in an attic screaming with its football trophies. So yeah, definitely a good talk. I would suggest everybody pick up or try Hollow, and then Hollow Knight is $15. Other than that, I've got a couple of videos that may be coming up tonight. I'm not sure. I'm slightly frustrated and don't know if I want to update them or not, but yeah. Check out my channel. Check out all these guys' channels. Do you play games, have fun, and to impress other people?
All right, let's go to retro.
D doesn't want to quickly plug his own channel after Shadow did it.
Yes.
Latest video, perhaps.
Play your games, fools.
My ending thing, like, very simple. I know, like, Juice likes triggering me with his ukulele shit. And Mary
That's because
always
he's a
does
piece of
that.
shit. That's why.
So I won't even add to this. I would just say that I recently launched like a poll today on Twitter, and with 70%, the general consensus is that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the superior game.
That's funny because when I
on that
voted,
shit too.
It is superior to Xenoblade Chronicles. You're right.
On that shit too.
It is superior to Xenoblade Chronicles and Baten Kaitos.
It was 54.
Surprise! Somebody picked the latest game. Oh, that's a
No,
surprise.
when I voted,
No, that's a cop out.
On the more popular console.
That's a cop out.
dude, when I voted, it was 54% X, 46% 2.
So the bottom line is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is better than Baten Kaitos. Is that what we were saying? I thought that's what we were
funny?
saying.
You know what's funny? The reason I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so much is because in many aspects it reminds me of Baten Kaitos in so many ways. And I swear to God, that fucking voiceover guy who does the combos is the same fucking dude who does them in like Baten Kaitos Origins. That has to be the same
Plus,
fucking
you
guy.
also are as big of an anime fan as Terrell, so they might have a small.
Hey.
That's not. No, don't do that.
They might have a small.
Don't fucking
percentage
try to
of-
downplay it. I'm gonna shit.
Yeah, I'm not as big an anime
Downplay
person.
that love.
Malos is my person.
All right,
That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say.
Terrell, why don't you give me your final thoughts?
I don't have any. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a better game. He had a dick juice. Lots of gameplay to win. Bye.
All right, T.
Yeah, so
And as soon as the scale lands in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, your ass gonna jump in it.
Man, fuck you. You wish you would. I like to walk, bitch.
great podcast as usual. I don't like negativity. I don't like
Yeah,
talking
he's
about this
lying.
stuff. But I have to stay real. I can't pretend to like something that I don't like. Like there's plenty of YouTubers that do that shit, so you go to them.
We're gonna get drunk.
It's not
Before they
helping
trade
me.
the console in.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. Listen, guys. We're gonna see drunk Mr. T pretty
Negative.
soon.
I'm talking
We're gonna
about
have the bot out in his next video.
these aspects aren't helping me. I lost like 25 subscribers. My views are
Now,
down.
that's just you being a piece
So
of shit.
I'm not doing it because I'm trying to get more views. I'm doing it because I'm real. I've always been real. So, sorry.
Real fake.
So you're a real gamer, Mr. T?
Oh! Oh!
Yeah, I really play games. So,
He loves Sega, so he is definitely a real gamer.
Are you 27 now? Are you 27? If you're not, then get the fuck out.
I'm not telling you what my age is, you bastard.
This is the best part of the podcast.
So yeah, like
You have a speech
I hope it gets
impediment?
better. And when it gets better, I'll jump in. When I hope it's sooner than later. Hopefully before Smash or something.
Nah, you asking too much.
But if not, then I won't be playing. But anyway, yeah, go check out my last video because nobody watched
Fucking knew it.
or not enough people watched it.
Go check out.
I thought I had a really. I don't hate. I just talk about like.
He just participates.
I love it when you don't even judge Nintendo on the others. You judge Nintendo on their self.
Yeah, I just judge them on
Yes.
their own.
It must really hurt people.
People will say, "Oh, you want them to be like everybody else?" Well, okay,
But it's true.
but it's not true.
No, I'm saying it's true. It's true. What like Switch isn't doing stuff that past platforms have done.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
it is
That must
true.
really
That's-
burn them when you said that.
that's why I use that. I go that angle, and I just expect a company that is super innovative and brilliant about a lot of things to do better when it comes to this stuff. So I don't know why that's such a bad position to have. But
But I can play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 while watch my San Francisco 49ers at the same time. Come on.
we never could do that before.
Revelation.
You know? So,
Well, you couldn't because Xenoblade 2 wasn't out on any other console. I'm just saying.
well, just
Because
play
the
video
better
games in
game
general.
was out on that console.
Better
Yeah,
Xenoblade
your
was out on
motherfucking
that
mind.
console, so
This is
you
usually on the
just
podcast.
open that
hour,
up.
but when we got negative topics to talk about, it's hard to have fun when it's like.
Yeah.
But
Like, yeah, that's why I don't like to do it. But
That's why
No.
you're depressed.
I really don't want
but
to
I
talk.
have to be honest. I told you guys a long time ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass like a lot of these other dudes
I
did.
think he lied about being honest, y'all.
I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm not getting Smash Brothers with this trash online.
And you know,
Man,
they holding this
just
online.
like
I
I'm
don't
not
really
buying
believe
it.
that.
Juice,
I don't believe that anyway.
They holding this shit hostage too.
That's why
They're
I do
like,
that.
you want this shit. You
Juice.
want it.
I'm not buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. either.
Juice. You of all
Yeah,
people
I'm saying
should,
it's on the same tier.
you
gonna
should
say that
not be so
bullshit?
reckless. Throwing messages,
You
throwing
shouldn't even
statements
have
out
bought
there.
it.
You know you.
If it's like you
That's
reckless
why
over
I
here.
said it.
know you had to
That's
step
the
back a
why
few
because you
times
be
before.
lying about that kind of shit. That's the problem.
That's why I said it. 'Cause I knew
You know you had to eat your words a couple times before. Let's not
Yeah,
get
that
too
was
much.
just-
let me clarify to the audience. I said
Everybody
that
gonna buy this shit.
purposely to get that reaction. I was not being serious.
He's fucking lying. Yes, he was. He found he
I
got
ain't
the,
buying
he got
that
the
trash.
backlash and changed his opinion.
I definitely am not excited about, but I have free online service right now, so I mean I don't have an excuse. So
And
But-
downsizing your standards.
Smash gonna turn a lot of people's heads, man. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh, it's
Everybody's
already,
holding out is gonna be like,
online has been
I
selling
hate
well, so it doesn't
Nintendo
matter.
so much.
well, selling well,
Start.
Terrell selling well could mean a lot of different things. To if you depends on what they consider selling well, and that's in Japan. So
Hey,
Also, it's in America.
Melee sold well. It wasn't
yeah, I
online
don't
either.
usually use well when I want to really let people know something's really good or doing well or doing better. It's selling really well.
Those are Microsoft. Those are Microsoft standards.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start my final thoughts with a quote. Xenoboob 2 caters to hungry infants. So
Hungry.
hungry infants.
I legit don't understand the joke.
I just want to. I want to know what happens if you put the super crown on Pyra.
He's basically saying that
That's just redundant.
it caters to people who are like, oh,
Pokemon, let's go flop. Says
Boobies.
James.
No, that booby remark is pretty funny for people who complain that they removed the tit slider from X.
Yeah.
Ah!
They gave it right back to you.
Most
That's why
people
we
like
keep it.
most guys like
This is-
boobs.
Put it up
There's
the
nothing
man.
wrong with the boobs.
He representing 10 out of 10.
Anyway,
Best retro gamer on podcast.
yeah, I don't know what else I can say to add to that, but I guess honestly though, just being honest, my Smash thirst is really after that direct was all right. I'm getting a little more excited, but that's kind of run out, and I'm not even like excited about like the thought of hey playing with you guys. And this whole online thing just really just like I think it was T
Put a
had
dark
that
cloud over.
dark cloud.
The cloud. Oh God.
It's just any
Hold on. Let me get the
excitement
correct
that I
name.
had.
Hold on. The correct name is Jesus. What is the name of this shit?
Damn, the name is Jesus. Jesus.
Save Data Cloud.
Put a dark save data cloud over your
CDP.
experience.
It's just like even if I was initially excited, I think this would have dampened it.
Yeah.
You trying to get wet? Is that what you're trying
from
to
the
say?
cloud, the rain from the cloud.
Dampen, yeah, we got you.
Man, everybody knows if you got a problem, just put a super crown on that
I was
bitch.
trying to move on.
It's okay.
Shut
I was
up,
trying to
chill
move
out.
on so you didn't have to be
Somebody arrest-
One of my
Save Data Cloud with the super crown.
Hey, listen, chill out.
anybody who knows who Meg Turney is, she's working on her Bowsette cosplay. So
Hey,
Oh
let's go.
God. Here we go.
Made it. We made it, boys.
Anyway,
Stop with this battles that shit.
It's gangster as fuck, T. All right.
I saw Yoshi at. I mean, come on now.
Man, listen.
did you
Hey,
see the
man.
Toad one?
Hey, man, listen. Have you seen that Boo-At? Man, get the fuck
Man.
I'm done. I'm done.
I will say the Toad one was like a legit that would be an awesome way to if Toad
Yeah.
Nintendo took Toad to a human character, that would be a cool way to do it. It was a really well done. I'm sure there's ones that weren't as work friendly as Terrell would say, but the one I
None
shared
of
with
them.
you guys,
Wait, which one was the one you shared?
it was just like Toad as like a girl with like shorter hair, just a normal girl, nothing like, oh my god, sexual about it. It was just like a really cool design for a human version.
Time to go
Toad.
to Terminator Juice's Twitter.
Man, they're flooding Pornhub, man.
No.
Like it's horrible.
I shared it in
It's
our,
a,
How you know that? How you know that?
it's a problem. Google. Google.
You fucked up. For
So
that.
anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and hopefully Robert he was going to be here. I had a game plan. It was going to be great, I
You were
think.
so angry about this.
And then he couldn't make it because his dumbass didn't do his homework.
Wow.
Oh,
Jesus Christ,
I'm
man.
a little
chill
upset
out.
because the game was going to be half the podcast.
You were so angry.
Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back next week to talk more nonsense. So we'll see you then.